everyone, or good morning, good afternoon, wherever you might be in this world. My name is Marva B. I am the CEO and founder of Black Link Magazine, and we are everywhere. So go find us in a Books A Million store, on news shelves, at the magazine cafe, Pin News. Thank you guys, listen, for being here and watching tuning into this live tonight. I'm so excited about this particular interview because we have a daddy-daughter, not father. I call my daddy daddy. So a daddy-daughter duo. And I know, and I was telling them before we came on live that I was and am a daddy's girl. My father has passed away. But that's what's so special about this story. We're just gonna get to know them, hear about their journey, and talk about the book. So without further ado, let's welcome my guest, Mr. DeShaun, Mr. Keith. Welcome to Black Link Magazine.
Thank you so much. It is an honor and pleasure in which to be here, and we appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you for saying yes. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And I'm thankful to the viewers that will watch that. This is late to some people, but I'm working 24/7, so it's not too late for me.
I'm a night owl, so I'm with you.
Yes, I am. So we're good. We're good. I want you guys go ahead and of course, ladies first. DeShaun, introduce yourself to the world. Tell them who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. So, DeShaun Weiss Porter. I am a wife, a mother of two, an HR executive at a hospitality company, a daughter, a aunt, a cousin, all of the titles, and of course the most precious, essentially, being mom.
Yeah. Your story, gosh, y'all, is so much like mine. So I'm an HR professional, and I am an HR girl, and I try to step outside of that world, and it just keeps pulling me back into HR as well. So go ahead, Mr. Keith, tell the world who you are and what you do.
Well, I am a full-time retired dad, husband, grandpa, and I have expanded my family to where I had a daughter for a long period of time. I picked up a son. I had two grandsons. My wife is phenomenal, and my life is blessed. I'm just blessed. I never thought retirement would be such a blessing, nor so occupied. Thank you, baby girl.
I do what I can. I keep them busy.
Right, we got to keep them busy. You think you're retired, but you know what? I think those grandbabies more than anything, like they kick us to the curb when the grandbabies come. I'm like, what's up with that?
I wouldn't have it any other way. I'll take it.
Yeah, I would too. I'll take it. So let's just get right into the interview. And I want to just talk about, your journey and your relationship with each other, as a father-daughter duo. And then now you guys have written a book. So just tell me, DeShaun, what was life growing up? What was it like growing up for you?
Oh my gosh. So I think I've always been a daddy's girl and mom's best friend, right? So I'm super close to both of my parents. I think my dad thought he was the disciplinarian, but then he had a girl, so that didn't work out for him. Just always very supportive. I think several people, and as I hear my friends kind of growing up now, they're like, oh, I didn't grow up with my parents saying like, I love you. And my father was very consistent with that my entire life. Always had words of advice, maybe more than I wanted to digest, particularly during those teenage years. But he was persistent and consistent with the guidance as well as the love. So very much equally balanced. That was my mom.
Oh, that is so amazing. Mr. Keith, let's talk about, fatherhood and, just having a girl for so long and then getting your bonus son and all these grandbabies. So let's talk about your journey in life a little bit.
Okay. It started March 8th, 1982. That's when she was born. My world changed. It changed. I'd always believed in being spiritual. One night I took her to the roof after watching Roots and said, there's nothing greater than this earth but you, but these stars. But I meant that. We have both been blessed. My mom and pop were people that taught us to believe in accomplishing things and helping people. That was their theme. You're here for a reason. You have a gift. Don't listen to somebody else trying to rob you of that gift. Just focus on you. And that's basically some of the theme that we tried to talk with DeShaun. She is incredible. She is phenomenal. She's beyond the wildest dreams of my expectations. But somehow or another, I think in our heritage, in our roots, it means something, which was now important to give to our grandkids in some package of a legacy. Because this country, unfortunately, has various ideas of what our legacy should look like. And if a child does not know who they are, they will get lost.
That's right. That's interview's over. Y'all got everything you need.
This was my dad all day, every day, folks. Okay.
But that is so amazing. And you do hear people that say, you know, I don't know what it is to have a father in my life. I don't know what it is to be told that I love you. And I just a real quick example, like my nephew had his child's mother, and she was always say, why do you say I love you every single time? Like, we can just hang up and say I love you, and he'll call me and forget he said something, and we'll be like, I love you again, like all day long, every day, I love you. And that's what my father instilled in us, is to let each other know and show that we love. And so I love that about you guys, and it's unfortunate for other people. And I like what you said, Mr. Keith, about helping each other. And it's part of that is giving people the love that they missed out on, and showing people love. And I'm very spiritual. And if they can see God in me, you know, that's love there, you know. And so we try to just show that love to one another. As far as you all working together and creating the book, I really want to talk a lot about the book. You know, and the Daddy-ism, and where that came from, and where the title came from, and what were your thoughts behind that, and what do you, so I'm asking a lot, but what do you want the audience to take from that? So let's just start, like, who came up with the idea? Let's write this book.
Go ahead, Princess, you can start.
Well,
that is her name, Princess.
So here's the interesting thing, plot twist, is that I don't know that we really intended for it to be a book. So for several years, my father would say, are you writing these down? Like, you should. He would call me 6 o'clock in the morning before I was ready to get up, and, you know, drop some words of wisdom, some type of gem, some motivational words. And I'd be like, yeah, okay, yeah, I hear you. I'm just wanting to get off the phone and go back to sleep, right? And it was, I would remember it. I would remember a good amount of it. And I started maybe 2008, 2010-ish. I started just writing down like some of the things that he would say. And I kept it like in a journal. And then I would hear, like, several years later, he'd be like, you should write this down. Like, you know, you would be rich if you would just go ahead and publish a book, right? Well, now I've published the book. I'm waiting on the rich stuff, but, you know, here we are. But I basically wrote it, and I was working on another book at the time, and it was really about my journey to motherhood, which is a whole separate topic. And it was definitely very challenging, but I'm blessed. And my miracle and my testimony are both here and doing well. But in that, I was working with a publisher, and I was just like, hey, I would love to do this gift for my dad. My dad's birthday is in June, so is Father's Day. So I was like, if it's ready at the beginning of June, then it'll be for his birthday. If it's ready in the middle of June, it'll be for Father's Day. And I just wanted to put it in a book format, and I wanted to use her printer. And she was just like, I just need somebody to format it for me. So, you know, it's on different pages and there's something nice or whatever. And she's like, just send me the manuscript. And I was like, the what? And she was like, and I was like, no. It's like on several hundred different pages. Like, and then some is written in a text message and copy and paste and notes. And she was like, all right, just send it to me. So she sent it, and she then ended up calling me maybe like a few weeks later or whatever. And she says, oh, and hey, so we're going to publish this book because my team read it, and there's a whole market for this. This is real. This is happening. And so at first I kept it as a little bit of a surprise, but then I had to let him in on it because there was some heavy lifting that was coming into play. So that's really how it came to be. It's a compilation of things that he said to me over the course of several years, probably possibly a decade, if not more, that I had taken down, and he gave it to me through text message, voice notes, email, whatever. And I just kind of compiled it all together. And what I realized is there were several things that I would even repeat to myself, all depending on what season of life I was in.
Right.
So if I was, struggling at work and just trying to make sure I was making an impact and leaving a mark, I would kind of, true back to those words. Or it could have been, getting married. I got married, I would say later on in life. I don't know when it is, but when I got married, just understanding how do you navigate kind of like that new relationship. And yes, I've got the good book, I've got my Bible, and then I've got my dad's words. And a lot of what he shares, I can also hear my grandmother. And so I was really, really close to her.
Yeah.
And he's picked up some of her wisdom.
So
you got more time to listen. It's coming.
How funny. Gosh, I said I wasn't gonna cry. I promise I won't. Okay. I gotta keep my lashes on. Okay. So y'all
keep the lashes, sis. I hear you.
So what was that like, Mr. Keith, when she finally let you in on it? Because here's why I asked the question. We talk to our children, and I know my mother and father always wondered, is she listening? Are they listening? Is she, is it soaking in, and we're not perfect. So we make mistakes, but then they see that I go back to say, I should have listened to my mama. I should have listened to my daddy, and we go back to that. How did it feel when she came to you and you knew that she was doing this project?
It was a very heavy moment for me, because I do go back and honor the legacy of my mom and my pop.
Right.
I do go back and understand that the most important thing in life is love, and you got to meet that challenge. And to expose the gifts that have been given to myself and to DeShaun was a thought: do we want the world to really see inside? Because we are a fairly private family.
Yes.
We really were.
Yes.
But something DeShaun has said, Dad, all your friends, whether they were in the house or out of the house, were always good fathers. And we're tired of seeing fathers being taken, Black fathers being taken and used and abused and never given credit. What can we do? That was drifting out there. All of a sudden, the book arose.
Mm-hmm.
That became a very, very important thing. We see folks that don't know how to handle being a parent.
Yeah.
Sometimes they haven't been taught. So if you believe in Jesus, part of what's in the book, if you believe in Jesus always said, be quiet when you had a problem and learn. Even more so, Jesus never yelled. Why are you yelling at your children? So for the most part, I was never yelled at for too much. And I tried not to yell at DeShaun,
Right.
because the message gets filtered. And we learned the most powerful thing from both my mom and my pop is the power of silence. When you're disappointed and you're silent, a child will do anything to get you to speak to them and recover. At the same time, he's teaching them internal disciplines. And it worked exceedingly well. It gave them backbone, it gave them structure, and it makes sense. The other complete aspect, because my daughter is very much like me, she's a people person.
Mm-hmm.
And she's traveled all over this world. But the Lord said, you got to be nice with everybody, be kind with everybody.
Right.
But if you notice the true story, he only kept 12 around him. So you better know who your 12 are. She knows who her 12 are. Those are the people that help stake your life, that can help protect your children, that protect the environment. And she learned from watching me and Uncle Jeff and Uncle Dave and the rest, and Mom and Pop. You didn't get invited into the house unless you had to meet a certain criteria, because Mom protected her family. DeShaun is doing the same thing. And so what we're saying inside this book, and hopefully from this book, we want everybody to read it and find a historian inside of their family, and then go back and find their Uncle Jeffs and their Uncle Daves. Children are being taught not to listen. But if you find their family historian, what will happen is the gifts should be given for Christmas or the holidays or the Father's Days. And they go back and they start talking about their own strength and their own legacies in their own family. So when their grandchildren stand up in the 3rd grade, 4th grade, or 5th grade, and the teacher says, I want you to write about an American hero, we're not going to write about George Washington. I want them to write about somebody in the family. That's the secret to the book.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. Okay, hold on here. That is so deep. Like we're so family oriented, and that's right. Like my mother is a calm spirited person, very Christian, very much involved in God, and brought us up that way. My father didn't yell I'm like you, DeShaun. He thought he was the discipliner. No. He's like, yeah,
don't disagree with me now at my age. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna tell that because we knew we could be like, oh, that, get on the side. But I say that to say, then I became a single mother, and I didn't ever think that I would be that, right? Because then I felt like I robbed my children of what I had, my mother, my father, all my life. But my father was their father figure in his life. And it's weird that you said this. Well, I know it's appointed, because when my nephew or my son, I can't remember, was asked to write, because he was the father figure in all of our lives, to write about someone, they wrote about my father. He was no one else. I'm like, all this is just meant to be. So, and that's why I get sentimental about that, because everything you're saying is just confirmation that my father was doing what he was supposed to be doing. And, and it worked.
And I can share this because I think it's important for people to know and understand. So while my dad and I are very close, I wasn't raised in the house with my dad. My mom was a single mom, but we still remained incredibly close, right? Mm-hmm. So he was still there guiding me through his words and through his presence when we had the opportunity to be together. And I think I share that because so often people will assume like, oh, well, if you're not raised with your father, you can't have that relationship. And the truth of the matter is that you can. And I found it important in which to share these words and share the wisdom that my father has shared with me, that was shared with him, because there might be periods of your life that maybe you don't have a father figure, or your father is not present, or your father is not able to be there. There's so many things that goes on in our lives, whether it's health challenges, it could be distance, it could be whatever, family dynamics. And so I still feel as though sometimes it's helpful to have a little bit of guidance. Yeah. And so through these words, I'm hoping that these words can kind of bridge the gap, as individuals might kind of be in transition or might not necessarily have the father figure because they're no longer living or because it's just not possible right now.
Yeah. I'm glad you shared that and was vulnerable and to share that, because I promise I didn't know and I just assumed. So see, I didn't know, but that is what speaks out of everything we've talked about. That right there spoke volumes, that he was still able, that while I'm not in the home, I'm still going to make sure that I'm present in my daughter's life, that I'm giving her the gem so that when she is ready to face life on her own, these are the things that she can pull out of her pocket that I gave her, right? Even though I wasn't there, I was there. And that's important. And so, Mr. Keith, tell me and then maybe you have, but there are young men out here that didn't have their father, didn't have those phone calls, didn't have those messages. What are you sharing with them? What are you telling someone to give them hope, a young man, just to give them hope that, while he wasn't there, life still goes on, life can still be great. What's your best advice?
Everyone has a superpower. Don't let somebody rob you and tell you that you do not have. And it starts with the first thing God gave you. The most important thing was love. Choose to love, not hate. You see, in our day and age, if you yell at a young male, 4, 5, 6 years old, by the time he's 9, he's picking up a gun. Okay? We need to change our tone. but somebody has to give us a roadmap as to how to do it. See, our roadmaps are just like our history is being erased. The legacy was a whole community. My friends have all extended, DeShaun's friends. A hug means a lot, somebody can talk to. And you will see a lot of children. If you give them a hug and they hold on to you for a while, you know that they haven't been touched. You need to talk to that child. You need to embrace and find this. What are you good at? Believe in that. Do it. If you give them that faith, because I know a lot of people help me with just a word in passing. Be open to that, but be open to the right strengths. And that's got to be important. You have to learn to be open to the right words, not the wrong ones. This world is full of negatives, but there's an alter reality. We are a rich culture. It's something I didn't necessarily share in the book because I wasn't sure I should share. We're probably the only culture in this country that was never conquered. We are kings and queens. We tried to merge. You didn't want us. Take a look at what the person we're talking to now. Look where my daughter is. They're trying to kneecap us because of education. We didn't stop. It's too late. So if you want to talk about success, you have it around. You just have to pick who you want to associate with. Find your 12.
Absolutely. Association. Who are you going to associate? And I talk about that all the time. My circle's not large, but the circle that I have is my family. They're my family. And that's who my mother, my siblings, you know, those are my 12 that will vouch for me, that will tell me when I'm wrong, will no mind telling me when I'm wrong, will praise me when I'm right, will teach me the word of God, will throw that Bible at me. Those 12 people. So, this is good. Okay, DeShaun, I have a question. So whenever you, because it's a lot being a mother, it's a lot being HR world. Yes, you got to be a people person. So I know you're a people person. So, but you're a mother, and we try to protect our kids at all costs. What are you sharing with them? And I know you probably said it, but what would you tell a single mother about what they need to talk to their children about? Because it's hard. Like they say, you know, a woman can't raise a man. You know, they have to have those men figure in their lives. I have a 20-year-old young man in my home that I raised, but I have my father, you know, as well. And now, I mean, he sees his dad. They have a relationship with their father, but my dad was that one that was giving them those gems like you were. What are you, what would you share with that single mother?
So I think there's a few things. The first one I would say is find moments to take care of yourself. I'm not a single mom, and when I tell you, I feel like I'm constantly out of time, running on E, like I'm exhausted, right? But if I could just find, you know, whether it's just a few moments, maybe it's every other day or once a week or whatever, find moments to kind of like center and restore, because then that way you'll continue to give your very best to your family. And I think as a single mom, that's needed even more because it's just you, right? The second piece is find your tribe. Keep that circle very tight, because you never want anybody to inadvertently hurt your kids or intentionally hurt your kids. So keep that circle very tight, but know who you can trust and lean on those people. Don't think you have to do absolutely everything alone. And then the third thing would be directly for the kids, you know, whether you have just one child or multiple, it's focus on the basics. I look around now and I'm constantly like, Princeton, please, say thank you, say you're welcome. Like the basics. I'm putting on a jacket. My son is 2. I'm putting on a jacket. I said, Princeton, come and hold this sleeve so mommy can get her hand in there. Right. Some people like to say chivalry is dead, particularly if you're raising a son. I don't think it has to be, but I do think that instilling in them some of those true core family basic values is going to go incredibly a long way. And it will allow them to stand out in a crowd, realizing that everyone's not doing it, right? And so it's not that we want people to take advantage of our boys, but if they're standing out, people are going to be more apt to be willing to help them, which in turn will help you as a single mom or otherwise.
I love it. Mr. Keith, doesn't it feel good when someone, because it happened to me not too long ago, said, you know what, your son, I wonder who raised this boy, was the most respectful, had his pants pulled up and talked to me like a man. And I went and found him and I was like, thank you, son. Thank you. Listen, and that just did me. Mr. Keith, you know how that feels.
I do. But I'm going to also say this. I expected it.
Yeah.
Why would we expect less?
Yeah.
If we want our sons to be princes and kings, then we have to treat our women as queens. Over the last 30 years, we've lost some of that. We have to reinstill that. To the mother who is challenged, I would say, do me a favor, pick up the book, read the book, pass it around to 4 or 5 of your friends, have discussions. And inside of those discussions, they will find that male figure that they will say, hey, we need to do this. Or that male figure will sit back and start picking it up. Okay. But people are not going to do it unless you start having conversations, because most people now have these walls up, a perfect wall. I got to do it all. I can't do it all. But the reality is your child needs an outreach. You can't watch that child. You need to develop that child. What can I do? I'm a man. I couldn't teach my daughter to be a woman. I can teach her to be a good person, period. And the same as vice versa. You teach that son to be a good person. But as far as being a man, it's how you select and who you select and why you select and how you overcome it. Part of the book is how you overcome adversities. Okay? Without losing your sanity, without yelling, keep your smile. And after a while, nobody can beat you. No, you can't be beat if you got faith, love, and a sincere understanding of who you are.
I love that. I have 2 more things. I won't keep you guys long, but I could talk to y'all on this.
Oh, you're amazing.
You are. Thank you.
You guys are amazing. So, you said earlier, one of you said earlier that the dads don't given the credit that they deserve, and I know some single dads that took their son in, their daughter, well, this one particular took his son in as a baby, was 18 years old, graduated still, and the young man is in college, getting ready to graduate college. So there are great dads in this world, and we got to give them that, and it's not just about the moms. We want to take the credit because we do a lot. Okay. But there are some dads that are really present. And so I wanted just to point that out, that you guys, one of you said that earlier, that you just don't get the credit. And I know I've heard men say, it's all about mama. Y'all never, what about us? We just everything that goes wrong, you want to put it on us. But it's not true. It's not true. There are good men, good dads in this world still. So I wanted to say that. And then I wanted to end just with you guys sharing where we can get the book, and anything else that you want to share about the book, and to know that I can't wait to get this interview out, because there's still some people. It's never too late, right? It's never too late. As long as you're breathing, there's still an opportunity to make good changes in your life.
Absolutely.
And whoever sees this interview, we don't know who it's going to touch, but we know that it's for the right reasons, and it's for the good, that somebody will be touched and say, you know what? Maybe I need to do this a little bit different for my son. Maybe I need to stop all that yelling, because I'm going to tell y'all, I wasn't perfect. I'm not a perfect mother. And I yelled. I did. I yelled, you sit down. I don't have time for that. I did that. And what would catch me is they was like, why are you yelling? But I have a daughter and a son, and they would say, why are you yelling? I'd be like, ugh, and I had to catch myself. So thank you guys so much for everything that you shared. So I'll let y'all take the.
Absolutely. So the book is called The Book of Daddy-isms. It's timeless lessons, word from the wise. And it can be found on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and Books a Million. As well, on Instagram at DWisePorter. And my dad is Keith E. Wise.
You remember. That's good. I'm impressed.
all the jokes. Okay, so well, he probably doesn't know his Instagram, to be quite honest. I think it's Keith Evan Wise.
It's Keith Evan when I looked on the bid.
There it is. There it is.
Evan Wise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So you guys, listen, go out to Amazon. You can go to a Books a Million near you, a Barnes and Nobles near you. But if your family's important to you, your children are important to you, I think this is one that you gotta get. You gotta get the book. So go out and get the book. Any last words, Mr. Keith?
First of all, I want to thank you.
Very
Second of all, I was very sincere. Don't go out and spend $500 or $1,000. It's important now that our families become internal and nuclear and know that's what the strength of the families are. We've been diluted. But when our kids start understanding about aunts and uncles and overcome the challenges and know what they've done, they will know that in their blood is the blood of success. All right. They are warriors that will get done. They can get these things done, but they have to know where they stand. What this book will do will make them internalize every family, communicate, and you get hugs and you get kisses. And those that are struggling, no problem. They'll get the hugs and the kisses too. And they'll know where to come. It's like that warm fireplace where people are around and they're talking. That's what this book is. That's what we hope it does. So we're hoping it will.
Again, you guys, I appreciate you spending time with us tonight for this amazing interview with daddy and daughter. It was so amazing. Thank you two for being so kind and for saying yes to Black Link Magazine. We cannot wait for the magazine to release in December, as you two will be in the magazine as well. And so if nothing else, we're going to go for now, you guys. But remember, respect yourself, respect each other. God bless.
God bless.
God bless.
Much love. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.